We are going to be figuring out how all that stuff plays and looking at it. For the first match, we're gonna be looking at SSG versus GG Peps. We're gonna be going through the top 4 games from EMEA and then the top 3 from North America. Just because I want to be efficient with my time, I'm gonna post these last few advertisements, and we will get started. Alrighty. So, first things first, change my settings here. 7. Forward a bit. Alright. So, taking a look at the comps that are being run right now. We've got the Sigma comp with the Echo, very similar to the Maga comp that was being played with the Farah, but instead with an Echo. We're going to watch the stuff play out, so we'll be able to see it. But fundamentally, I'm thinking Echo, very good against the Maga character. Matches up really, really well. And also is able to duel the Farah. So if there's... can kind of punish more aggressive angle taking by the Farah. And then you can be pretty stable with the Sig and stuff because the Sig works really well against the Maga. Plus, you can have landed on BAP, which is Landon's the best BAP in the world. So makes it pretty makes it a no-brainer to choose that one. But let's watch this first rollout, because the map has changed pretty significantly. So I like to see how these guys roll out. So these guys are rolling out to Courtyard. Excuse me. I think that this area right over here is going to be really important to fight over. Probably less so this back area. But I feel like this rollout from GG Peps is better for their comp. I think that the SSG rollout is fine as well because they're playing the Sig. They want to keep distance. They don't really want to meet in the middle. So this rollout is good. But I think that this space is going to be very, very important because you have the angles onto cart here. But yeah, so we've got these two starting out with as well. All right. Are they... So a good concept that works really, really well on Colosseo is you can push out through here and then flip map. So you can set up a staging area right here. And these guys will all be forced to back up into your spawn. So you end up in a scenario where red team is on blue team side of the map and blue team is on red side of the map. And if the red team can jostle for the positioning and get bot first, they can start moving it to the left, and then blue team has to push into them to try and catch the bot because the bot's going to be moving away from them. So I am a big fan of going for this setup, especially against this comp, because you can look to catch the Sig comp. So how will these guys react to it? Oh, Naga just dies. Okay. That's one way to do it. So they didn't actually end up flipping. They did the kind of like a half measure, so I think that's um yeah. Sorry about that. I had a couple of chatters that I needed to ban.
Objective unlocked.
So Sparker goes down. Let's go back. Let's Sparker die. Oh, just some really good shots from Zodiel.
Objective unlocked.
But now SSG have done the thing that I was talking about earlier. Where now it's kind of backfired on GG Peps. Because now they have bot, and all of these people have to push into SSG to get bot pressure. And SSG gets free bot push to begin with. So I think that this is probably going to end up pretty badly for GG. Interesting use of... say trade for Landon. I want to see what is back or Psycho rather. Let's go back. Taking engage on the Tread. Tread forced E and Suzu.
Motivating the robot.
I wonder if Psycho needs to play a bit more aggressive to duel the Pharah. I think it's tough to say, but how does... Let me go back and see how hot he dies.
The enemy has claimed the robot. Motivating the robot.
He has no BAP, and he's at 330. What the hell just hit him? Must have been, I think it was a headshot plus Naga shot. Damn, that sucks. Well, after your Sig goes down, I think you can call that a wash for the fight. It's unfortunate. Because I think SSG played that better, like position-wise, honestly. How do they take the re-engage? Dude, Exodial already has noon. What the fuck? This guy's a monster.
Now you see me? It's
That's crazy. Okay. I want to see, first off, before Psycho dies, I want to see what he's doing in the neutral. Because one of the biggest questions that I want answered after today is what do you want to do as Pharah versus Echo? And what is Echo's job when up against the Pharah and stuff? Because I think there's a very easy answer, which is just pressure Maga, dual Pharah. But I think that there's also some more nuance and stuff like that for what the Echo does that makes her so much stronger. This was really quick from them. Did anyone else react to this? So they're going quick through here. anyone else react to this? Everyone's turned. Okay. What happens?
It's
Everyone D-peaks except for Psycho. I think that's a mistake on Psycho. You can't go aggressive there. You could probably just fly up and go to the bridge. Honestly. Let me make sure. I'm not trolling.
It's
Yeah, he just flew. So instead of going aggro there, he probably could have just D-peaked, honestly. Tough lamp. Like that's rough. Yeah. I think the biggest win condition for Maga up against this comp is your DPS have to get value. Because Maga just will get shredded against these guys. So like we've seen Tread just instantly fall over 2 fights in a row. And I think that's just what's gonna keep happening. But I don't think it's Tread's fault. I think it's just the comp matchup. Alright. Kiri. Very nice. Okay. Ambitious. Alright, let's watch this next fight through Psycho's POV.
hello. What's up? The barricade proceeds. Amplification matrix charging. Amplification matrix charging.
Enemy team has claimed the robot.
Motivating the robot. Step right up.
We have taken the
Holy
lead.
cow. How does he get 2 there?
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Good reaction time.
Thank you for the assist.
I like that play.
Close to the robot.
So I think, so far, I'm going to be taking notes as well, so I'm going to write this down really quick. Biggest thing so far, at least from that fight that we figured out, is that I think the Echo is a lot better at taking quicker duels with the Cass. Pharah has been historically a very slow character. With that being said, I think Echo plays a lot quicker. Between stickies and the shots, Echo just shoots faster. She's got more cooldowns to be used for duels and stuff like that between the beam and stickies. Pharah has a lot more mobility, so I think using a bit slower kind of tempo, the Pharah is a lot better. So I think you want to be dueling the DPS more. So if you can make it so that Tread can't get any value using Sigma, Echo, Cass, you can then make it, and then your Echo has a better dueling potential against the Cass and the Pharah, and can also give your Cass an advantage, I think. So that's the first thing that we've learned today. All right, let me write this down really quick. Okay. So let's go. Let's go back into it.
Hello there.
On the move.
They took the robot. Oi, don't let it move a single step.
Getting a lot of space because they don't have numbers.
Scaling up.
Just go poke in the mid fight, monitoring flanks.
Robots has been acquired.
That's crazy. How did Tread just exploded? Oh my god, my ears. Look at Tread's HP as he's running. He's full, goes for the noon, starts running, instantly half HP, and just explodes. What the hell does he get hit by? Let me go to Tread's POV. Because I think that's actually a pretty decent setup. Going for the high noon and then pinning with the Maga. Just before he pinned, he went down to half HP. Okay, he's good, he's good.
Patching me up.
So he tanked 2 Sigma shots and a cast shot. And he just gets chunked before he peaks. I think he just has to pin quicker. I don't think he can swing before pinning. Just because he doesn't have the damage reduction, and that's why he took so much damage. And it's like he can't even get to these people. I probably would have committed for the slam. Honestly. Like, you're gonna die anyway. Like, can you realistically assume that you can get Beat or Suzu here? That's Maga? I don't think so. I think. By the way, Tread has not gotten an ultimate yet. I'm pretty sure. This is his first ult. So like, it's just miserable for this guy. So I think that just trying to commit on these people. If you get a slam on the BAP as your noon rounds the corner, you could probably kill these 2 people, or at least Landon. And then you've traded. It's not good, but it's better.
They took the robot. Don't let it move a single step.
So that was rough. So I think Maga's just worse now than Sig. Good pick from Naga. Alright. They got forward spawn, they're pushing up. They're probably gonna have to back here pretty quickly after they get spawns. Yeah, because they're probably looking to leave here. Tread now on the Sig. Now, we're in a almost mirror here. Except for the Echo versus Pharah and BAP versus Kiriko. So 2 just different stylistic changes. And I think, ironically, I think that Kiri might work better with London's comp, or SSG's comp, because they want to play quicker. And BAP might work better with GG Pep's comp, which is interesting. But I think that comfort picks for Landon especially. Like, Landon is an infinitely better BAP than he is Kiriko. Not to say his Kiriko's bad, but he's literally the best Baptiste in the world. So that's tough. Yeah, beat Barrage is super strong. That's tough to beat. And you traded beat Barrage for Window. Like, I think you take that easily. You can come back in with Flux, Noon, Copy. Tread almost has more ult charge than he ever got on Maga. That's crazy. Yeah, we see how these guys are fighting more over this courtyard area than.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Sigma.
All of the Qs. Every Q. Oh. Tragic. Alright, let's break that fight down for a little bit. There's a lot of stuff that went on. So, to start with, this courtyard area is just super good for taking these fights in the middle. So you no longer need to. Before you had to fight over this lane. Now I think you can kind of ignore it and like rotate through here and go for these hits. Like they're using Kitsune here, but I think that you could probably do these hits pretty consistently whenever the bot's in the middle and you're fighting over it. But SSG do a great job of pulling first, and then they use Flux to push back in. It's really well done. Because if we watch, notice how these guys are. I'm just gonna go slower speed. Everyone's pulling back here. Like all of these people have backed off. Hottie did a great job of getting Flux off inside of a lamp so that he doesn't die. And it kind of, the Flux halts GG Pep's momentum, so they can't really push forward because of the Flux.
Adaptive circuits
Now,
engaged.
they copy, and they look to push back in. Notice how everyone else is looking forward.
Sigma.
Here they go. Good boop from Funny Astro. I think if that boop gets like if it doesn't go off, it gets pretty scary for SSG, because if the cast is right here, you can speed to either go for this angle or can go even wider and try to catch the people over here. It gets pretty scary. Granted, you do have 2 Sigmas, so like lots of shields and hands to get through, but still. But really good. Sparker does a good job of pressuring him out. And they just win the trades. They also have more ults, or better ults. Kitsune, I think... Kitsune would probably be better on point, honestly. Because they're fighting over the bot when it's like right here. And it moves between these 2 areas. So you need to fight over this space. I think that if they had Kitsune'd like this, you force you make it so that SSG can't fight over this area. So if they Kitsune along this line, so they've got the Kitsune set up, SSG probably can't fight here. Because if they do, you're standing in a Kitsune and you have the advantage. Granted, they did have Flux, so the same thing could happen where they just drop Flux right here and they catch everyone. But I think if you Kitsune here, these guys have to back this way or this way, which makes recontesting the bot harder, so you can get more progress and potentially get better value from like your noon and stuff like that, because then they have to re-push into you to touch bot. So, and if you delay just a little bit longer, you're coming up on Flux. So like, and they don't have support ults yet. So if you played slow, you probably could have done something like this. Ideally, you don't have to use this, but I think that you probably would have gotten a decent high noon off if you could rotate through. All right. Let's keep her going. Hottie goes to the Reinhardt. Now, I can only imagine that this is a comfort pick. Actually, check that. I actually think the Rhine's actually really good, now that I'm thinking about it. Because we've got this set up here, right? Sig wants to play slow. Pharah wants to play slow. They want to poke. Cass can do a bit of both. But, like, so I think Cass can get value either playing slow or playing fast. But these two especially really want to play slow. And if you play fast on them, they struggle to get value. But SSG are playing this character, and now they're playing this character, and they're on a stretch where I believe the thing is like right here, so they have to fight over this path, and this path doesn't really have a whole lot of abusable high grounds that these guys can't deal with. And if GG Peps wants to fight, like on bridge, like they throw up the Sig shield, they're looking this way, they just have a Rhine. They can hold shield, speed boost at you, and doesn't matter how far you kite, because you have an Echo, and Rhine shield plus High Noon is really busted, because you have to get through the Rhine shield, and then you're in the other team. So I actually really like the Reinhardt pick here against this iteration of the comp. I think that there's definitely some things that you could swap around. You could probably go like back Maga, honestly. Or you could probably go like a Ramatra and probably get a little bit more value. But I think that London have a really good read here. It also helps that it's comfort picks. So, SSG fighting over this room. They're a bit slow. They're gonna solo Flux Hottie. Ooh, that was a good, really good try from Tread. Oh, Ajax, no way. Okay, Psycho bounding, alright. Yeah, but you see, like, they did everything within their power to kill the Rhine, but he just has too much HP and a shield, so, like, it's tough. You just can't do it. So they did end up going back Maga, which I think is better than the Sig. Tread has to hit that slam. The biggest counter to the High Noon as Maga, they're not running a Kiriko, so you can guarantee that they don't have Suzu. You need to hit the slam to cancel the Noon, or else you just lose. Also, Psycho dueling, not gun winning. Just because the Echo Pharah matchup favors the Echo. But I think if I remember correctly, I think SSG just full cat this. And like, yeah, Hottie is just trading shield for. That's really unfortunate. I don't know if they win here. Actually, they no, they don't. Never mind. Funny I survived. Dude, Psycho's a nutcase. Alright. So Naga goes Genji because you want to play with the lifesteal and you want to brawl with the Maga. I think that's fine. You don't want to play Venture because you're scared of Echo and Cass. So I think the Genji's alright. But notice how SSG have a great macro understanding of push, where they don't care if you get push up here. They're gonna fight you right here. Because this is where they can set up, this is where they can take all of their angles. So they don't need to push aggressively to stop bot as soon as possible. They want to fight here. So they're letting them push into there. So I actually really, really like this from SSG. So I think it's gonna be tough for, like, this is gonna be impossible, I think, for Peps to win. Yep. Oh my god. That was So, how this matchup is working, I think this is another thing that we can take away from this match is the Reinhardt, how the Reinhardt's playing. So essentially what Ryan is doing is he's applying point pressure long enough where it forces Peps to do something. Like they need to go aggressive, they need to make a play, because Hottie's just stalling the point. Like he's throwing up his shield, he's trading shield for cardiac, and then whenever the Maga pins in, Hottie can just turn around and pin, and then he's with his team. Also helps that he had Shatter and he was able to 180 and hit the Shatter. So let's write this down. Ryan trades shield for Maga Shout. Pressures bot. To force resources. Alrighty. Let's keep going.
Greetings. 60 seconds remaining.
That's a cute little flank. I like to point this out before we get into it. But there's a doorway in here. This area over here now is a doorway that allows you to get onto this area over here. So Peps just went through here, and now they're completely in cover while able to contest the bot as it passes. Really, really nice rotation, and I think that's really cute.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Malma.
I think if you wanted to nitpick, SSG used too many ults, but it's also 30 seconds left, and they're about to C9 and win. Oh my god, they just... Alright. Well, takeaways. The Echo versus Pharah matchup is primarily based around tempo, as well as better value against Maga, and better value against the Echo duel. It allows you to duel the DPS more effectively. Alright. Done that one. Now we're going to go and see Ents versus GG Peps. Alright, just need the code. Import.
Ready for battle.
Alright, run us Barunka. Let me get the team names up for y'all. That one. Alrighty. Let's see what comps these guys want to roll out with.
Ready. Objective unlocks in 30 seconds.
So GG Peps are sticking with this Maga comp. I think it's decent on this one because you can play again. You can play around the giant pillar in the middle. I think the interesting thing will be how this Doomfist fares against it, because I feel like Doomfist matches up pretty well into the Maga comps, but it's not super straightforward in how they interact with each other. Just because Maga works so well against Dive. So let's see. poking.
Objective unlocked.
Peps doesn't want to take any greedy angles, which I think is fair. We're in this kind of beginning stage. Really good. I actually like that rotation. Trying to catching these people and saving you. But not only did you save shout, but you saved pin. So now you can do this and get out. Really nice. Let's actually take a look and see exactly how Masa gets caught. They need to fix that shit. That's so annoying.
Objective unlocked.
Let's look at this. So Masa is... That is... I think that's really bad positioning for Masa. I don't see any reason why you would need to play over here. I think you either play up here, like on this wall, maybe on this wall, on the other side, or you can even just play over here with your Soj. Your Kiri's playing there though, so I think that this is probably worse. You probably just want to play on one of these walls. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if you're like on this corner or something. I think just over here, you're directly in line of the Pharah, and also there's a giant split that you have. There's a giant amount of distance that you have to cross to get back to your team, which can just be so punished. They've got a fucking cast, for God's sake. Like it's. I think that's just a feat for Monster. But good focus fire from GG Peps. And then they just back off because they know they've got a person advantage. So Chase is never really committing. He's kind of just going in, zoning space, getting out. I think that the Doomfist is tough. So essentially what they're playing for right now is Kai, hoping that Kai can get a rail and kill someone. I don't think that this is a good strategy, especially after the Soj nerfs. So I don't know how I feel about this one, to be honest. Let me really quick pull up. Alrighty. Let me turn on my mic a little bit so that you guys don't hear the stuff in the background. Just wanted to make sure the bitrate and everything was okay for y'all. I just don't think that the Soj can operate in the way that she used to like this. This is enthralling gameplay. They have pulse. Good job not getting picked by the Kitsune. Now they've got ults to come back in with. Yep, they're gonna rush high ground. There you go.
Meteor strike.
Okay. So this is just classic pull, push pull. GG Peps pushed
Meteor strike.
And pulled really well. Was able to kite without getting anyone picked. Kevster also went to point, started putting pressure on that, forcing these guys to have to back off. I think Doomfist is also good because you can do this, where these guys ran over here, kitsuna'd this to get over here. Chase jumps up here and then starts blocking so that he forces these people to look at him. And now he dropped, and then he just punches out. Stays alive. Everyone's alive. Now everyone has ults. So now they can push back in, Kitsune this high ground, and look to catch people. And this comp is way faster than this comp. So these guys can pull and then push in really quickly. So they used all of their resources to get this way, and then they didn't have anything to withstand the push back in from ends. Even Debster lives. Now they can just push back in. Kyrie takes high ground. Good punch from Chase.
Meteor strike.
I think it's just a wrap from there. Yeah. If you can split off anyone, if you can make the Maga team split, I think you just win. But well played from Ents. It was 2 fucking minutes of watching no one die, but it is what it is. So they're gonna take cart, and it's gonna be this exact same game, where these two teams are gonna be playing a mini game, where the blue team goes aggressive, the red team kites away, and then after these people have used all their resources, red team pushes back in, and as long as if blue doesn't have enough resources to also pull back out, blue team's gonna lose. That's gonna be the exact. We're gonna watch this for another 7 minutes. And if blue needs to figure out how they can push without using a lot of resources, and then pull, and then have enough resources to pull rather. So they go to the point. I'm just playing safe. Chase goes for a. Oh my god. I need to see that from Kai. Hold on. That was gross. Oh my god. That was so gross. Jesus. Yeah, really good punch from Chase. I think that's like one of the better things about this comp into the Maga is that you can punch people and separate them, and it's super easy to farm power punch, so you can get the displacement a lot easier. Very nice overall. I think there's just too many things that counter Maga now. I think you can play this comp. I think you can play the Sigma comp. I think you can. I just don't think that there's. I don't think Maga does enough against these counter comps to actually make it viable. They go for the retouch, but I'm just happy to just walk away.
This ends
And notice how Chase can kind of go in and pressure these guys because the Maga's gone. Chase can punch in here because the Maga had to drop to touch point, and he can pressure these guys out. I maybe wait a little bit for the Soj ult. Try to get these guys to push back out to be an LOS because Tread's leaving, so you can't really do a lot of damage to him. And Chase forced all of these people to leave. So we'll see if we can get. Okay, they just trade Cage for it. But they get forward spawn, and that's the trade you make. Chase is gonna die, but they get forward spawn. Now everyone's gonna leave. Kai taking heads off, as per usual. We're right back at fucking fight 1. Like, it's the exact same thing over again. Chase goes out. These guys try to stable.
It's high noon. Meteor strike.
I like that. See, I think Ents got too impatient there. They tried to go aggressive when they didn't need to. They had this really good thing going where they would just back off and kite the aggression. But they decided to actually go aggressive, which, like, I don't think you can do. I think you have to wait for a pick. I like this mini play trying to go for this tracer, but like I think it's just better to leave. You can try to look for something, but I think the punch is just better used trying to leave.
It's high.
Yeah, because they boop him in.
Meteor strike.
Oh yeah, but he had meteor strike. Did he have meteor strike at the beginning of that? Yeah, he did. So actually, this is totally fine because he can just meteor strike out.
It's high noon. Meteor strike.
So he commits here. I think that this is a mistake from Ghost. I think that Ghost, there's no reason for Ghost to TP in here because sure, the meteor strike's here and he's gonna try to engage on these people to kill them, but he has power punch, so he can still leave. And your whole mission on this comp is to just kite the aggression. So this isn't a situation where I think you can win with Kitsune. I think this is a mistake from Ghost. Because they mirrored both support ults, both teams. Yeah, I think you can't go aggressive there. You have to keep pulling. But now that you have to retake, I think it might be tough. If GG Peps are gonna make any kind of run to make this close, it's gonna be right here. They can equalize the score. Decap with Kev. So we can break this down again into another pull, into a push. Let's go back to the beginning of the fight. But they're looking to, the Doomfist is set up here, so that way if these guys push in, Doomfist can turn around and pinch with his team on the enemy team that's trying to attack the rotation. Also has the ability to dive the high ground if he wants to. I think this is more of a you could do it, so you have to respect it, less it's something that he actually wants to do. But these guys are going to push in, try to catch people on the rotation, they're going to sustain, and then re-push in. And they're just going to be out of resources. There they go aggressive. Use cooldowns to get out, sustain what you can. Masa gets picked, but everyone else is able to stay alive, do enough damage. Good focus fire from Chase and Kev to get down Exodial.
Your team has taken the lead.
But everyone stays alive, everyone keeps doing their thing, and now Morgan doesn't have E. Kiriko's on point, out of position. They have to disengage.
Your team has lost the lead.
Just really good for men overall. So let's see if Peps might be able to stop the lead. So they go for this.
It's high noon.
I don't hate it. You're trying to catch the back line.
This ends now.
I actually really like that flank. So the biggest thing that's been screwing over not Exodio, GG Peps is the fact that every time that they push in, Ents have enough resources to leave, and they don't have enough resources to like catch them. So what they did is they rotated this way, went for a speed high noon play, trying to catch anyone that's positioned around here in preparation for the fight that's going to take place over here. So what ended up happening is that the Doom Tracer ended up backing off this way to avoid the high noon. The rest of the team backed up this way, which left these people over here extremely vulnerable because they used their mobility cooldowns to try to get out. But it just Chase went down and Kai's popped OC, so we'll see if Kai's able to turn this. I like the idea from GG Peps. I think it's really good. Nope, Kai's thing right now. So, Ents is happy to just leave. Retake positioning on high ground.
Sensei Kiki.
Yeah, I think that's really good. You take the fight early so they don't have time to regroup and actually stabilize their resources. I think that's really good. Stagger Masa a bit. Is Kev gonna live? Kev got Mega.
Your team
Yeah,
has
I
lost
think
the
Kev should
lead.
live here. He's pretty close. GG just want to hold the high ground. And this is jostling for some position, trying to poke people out, look for picks, force resources. GG Pep's doing a good job. See, the thing with push that's really unique compared to some of the other maps is that now that these guys have the lead, they don't really care about trying to force pressure on the point, because if the game ended right now, GG Peps wins. So GG Peps just wants to preserve their lead and play defense. So they're holding this space up here, denying the bot from pushing through, and not giving Ents a good opportunity to, one, fight them, and two, play for what they want to play for. Tread's doing a good job. Like, if you noticed, Tread was playing like here, rotating like through here, playing this area. One, to play this corner to force pressure on bot, and two, was LOSing Kai to prevent him from charging rails really effectively. So it kind of forces Ents to go aggressive. So Chase dives in, forces these guys to back off a little bit. But because these guys pushed, these guys have saved all of their resources to pull back, and these guys have used resources to engage. So now we'll see if Ents has enough resources to leave, which they should, because Chase has ult. They have beat. They've got Kitsune. Like, they've got enough resources in terms of ults that it's okay. Good beat. Timed it really well for Chase coming down. There we go. Yeah. I think, actually, I'm going to let this play out. I don't know who wins this. Now that Kiriko's dead, it's pretty even. Red's really low. I think Ents have to leave, no? Yeah. They're able to take Kev. Okay. So, biggest reason why Ents lost that one was because they had to go aggressive, use resources. And in the neutral, like if we look at these two comps objectively on paper, this comp is way better than the Doomfist comp in just straight neutral. Like if you're fighting in the neutral, brawling, this comp is going to be way better because Maga buffs these two players. They give them so Naga is almost definitely worse than Kev, but Naga with lifesteal and damage reduction makes it really tough on Kev. So it gives these people an advantage to fight in the neutral, even if they mirror all of the ults. And they didn't have to. Because even though Chase used Meteor Strike, they didn't have Cage, but they still won. So you guys also haven't been able to see any of my marker at any point. That's really annoying. Let me fix that. Will it load? It will not. Let me... Hold on, guys. Sorry about this. There we are. All right, now you'll be able to see my pen. But yeah. You weren't even able to see my mouse. That's really unfortunate.
It's high noon.
I've never seen a meta where High Noon has gotten so much value. Like, this is nuts.
It's high noon.
Good try from Chase. Now Ents are in a pickle. Because GG Peps are in a very solid position to take this. Notice how GG Peps are giving a lot of space because they don't need to hold this.
This
They
ends
can just
now.
give it. Like, they don't need to hold it. They've kited the overclock, and they are able to push back in. That was textbook. Absolutely
2
textbook.
minutes remain.
Like that's like
This ends now.
popped OC. Tread immediately looks to fall back. Everyone else falls back with him because look at this giant yellow ring. Everyone has damage reduction. Everyone has lifesteal. So they back off. Suzu. Chase tries to go aggressive. And they realize, hey, we're in a pretty decent spot. And this guy just uses cooldowns. Let's go back. Oh, it's Exodial. Exodial hits a nice flashbang onto Chase. Makes it so he can't leave. That's tragic. A real... Excuse me. Really good pull from GG Peps. I think that probably is the nail in the coffin for Ents. 20 seconds. Let's see. Yeah, this is GG's.
Sensei Kiki!
There it is. Alright. So, a couple things we've learned. The Doomfist comp while I think it has some merit, I don't think it's better than the Sigma comps. There's different iterations of them. I think although the Doom comp can pull a lot better and force the Maga comps to play aggressive and play against what they really want to do, it doesn't really matter because the Maga comps are just so much better in the neutral. Last one we're gonna look at for EMEA is ENCE versus SSG, the grand final. So this is gonna be Coliseum. Should be really cool to see here. Now I just need to label these guys. Team 2 should be the same, and these guys are just SSG. Alrighty. Now, really quick, I'm gonna get us started. On here.
Ready for objective unlocks in 30 seconds.
We got the starting comps. I'm gonna go use the restroom, and I'll be right back. B, R, B. Alrighty. Be right back. returned. Alright, let's get into this. So, SSG rolling out with the Rhine to start with. I like it. Alright, let's see it. Let's see how it matches up against the Sigma comp. So how do these guys roll out? SSG fighting over courtyard. Ends taking a step back. Here it is. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Oh, but they're going to fake it. So SSG are trying to bait this. So that if they go this way, these guys have to back up and play over here. But what they're doing is they're doing this rotation. And then, but they're just sitting here. So when these guys rotate, they'll be ready to just push back in and hit them. Really creative. I like that a lot. Yep, and here they come. Very nice. Weren't able to catch anyone, but I like the idea.
Direct me to the task location.
Shield presence. Body doing a good job of pressuring the cart.
Please do not.
SSG playing this, it's still push-pull, but it's really slow push. So Hadi is doing an amazing job of just slowly applying point pressure and letting these guys move forward, because this team cannot walk on Hadi. Hadi can kind of just sit on the cart, and as long as he has shield, he's pretty safe. So this guy, Hadi, is okay with just sitting on the cart, getting point pressure, and letting his DPS poke and try to get value from winning the duels. Both windows are about to come online. Kester is a lot farther ahead than Psycho. Same thing for Sparker versus Kai. But Hadi's just a giant threat, sitting on the cart, making it so that these guys can't really push forward, which means that they just constantly have to keep backing until they get an advantage. Window. Yeah, better brand. So, one of the big differences in between these comps that we're going to see throughout, I think, the rest of this map is window, the window value. Ents have a lot more value that they can get from window because they're playing with the SIG. And also, far rockets are insanely scary through window because I think at one-shots, we can go back and check real quick, but I'm pretty confident that it literally just one-shots people. Let's watch Kev's POV. Yep, one shot. One shot. That was fucking disgusting. Yeah. So, the Ents is going to be able to get significantly more value from window as opposed to SSG. So when we have these mirror window fights, it'll be important to see how SSG reacts and is able to take wins during these fights. Hold on. Holy. Wait, what? Alright. What is Kai? I'm not Kai. What is this Psycho doing? So Psycho is constantly on this off angle. His entire team's looking this way and creating a kill box right here. So anyone that peeks past this corner is just in the firing lines. Flying. Oh no.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
think Sparker just hit infinite shots. I think another thing, I'll talk about it after this. But I want to watch from Sparker.
Take back the robot!
More grit than that.
Oh my.
Amplification matrix, Chuck, show you.
Dude, this guy can't be allowed to do this shit. So, another thing that I think makes this comp really good, or at least how SSG are playing it. So, when, let's say that there are Rhines right here. If these guys try to push aggressively onto the Rhine through window, through other ults, through other resource advantages, etc., the Rhine will try to peel back or just stabilize where he is and live. Because he's got shield, he's got a ton of armor, he's got a ton of HP. Very easy to just stabilize and force a ton of resources out of the other team, which allows Psycho and Sparker to kind of go on these side angles. And this is like classic, almost wartime strategy. So these guys are pushing in, which means that they're all condensed within this area, or they're actually playing over here. And these guys were playing up here. Hottie has to back off, plays on bot, holding shield. Sparker's able to rotate this way, takes a duel on Kai, kills him. Psycho is able to come up here and fight on this angle, which means that they've successfully created a kill box in the area that Ents want to push into. Really, really smart from these guys. So it's a lot of the collapsing in the middle, kind of using your Rhine as bait. I love watching SSG because there's so many layers to what they do. They decided to go Maga. I think it's better. Let's see if they can figure out how to beat the Reinhardt.
It's
Going for the aggressive high noon. Oh my god, he's so fast. That's so hard to deal with. Because watch what happens. Ghost just doesn't back up from his team. And he's just not quick enough. Like, he doesn't get far enough out. Like, look at where these people have to end up going. These guys are literally in this other spawn. They have to go into this room up here. Like, oh, did they connect these? I think they... Have these always been connected? Am I dumb? I think I'm dumb. Okay, never mind. But these guys backed up into this room. Ghost tried to just play this corner because he thought he was safe. But SSG were like, nah, we're running at you. It just forces so much positioning, and like if you don't get your rotations to disengage perfectly, you just get caught.
Justice! The data circuits engaged. Farah.
They had to go aggressive. They had to make a play. I think that's what you had to do. I don't think that's bad from Chester. I think that's just what they had to go for.
Justice!
It's high noon.
Really perfect. It's unfortunate land for yours. Landon doing Landon things. Yeah. How did this lamp get caught? Excuse me. Let's watch Ghost POV.
Step rider.
Field.
Oh, no way. That is tragic. That is so unfortunate from Coast.
Step right up.
No, we. Unfortunately. I don't know if it saved him because I think the lamp might have been late regardless. It's like, that's just tough. Lucio gap, I think. Funny asterisk goes Masa. High goes Widow. I think this is a desperation paper. Nope, he goes back to cast. Okay. They go forward spawn.
It's high
Behind him play. Is he gonna drop here? Oh, he almost got Masa. Oh, but Masa gets caught, dude. Masa, the support, the backline for Ents, I think, is their biggest weakness. They're just constantly making mistakes and getting caught. Like Masa was getting caught and getting killed in the game versus GG Peps, and Masa's just like Ghost is making enough mistakes where it's costing him, and Masa's making enough positioning mistakes where it's costing him. Like I think that the biggest weakness here is the backline. Like they're just not on the same page as everyone else. Aggressive here.
Why argue when you can push? Results not guaranteed if robot is used.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Maunga.
So the idea behind the Maga pin there, like it looks really dumb and really silly. Like it from a bird's eye view, it looks really silly. But the reason that Vestola pins in here, also something that oh, what was it? It was one of the VODs earlier. Where one of the Magas tried to swing first before pinning and then got half his HP chunked and just would die. Actually pins before he really peaks. So he's able to keep a lot of his HP. The biggest thing that Maga needs to play for against the Rhine is getting behind him. Because if the Rhine has to focus shield behind him, that means that he can be shot in the back by your team. So this pin, I actually think is pretty good. It's just they had window to stabilize and you had to back off and you just weren't able to stabilize. I think, did they wait for Masa to go in? Let me double check. I don't want to spread. I don't want to talk shit. Masa's coming back. So they do wait for Masa. But they've just made it so that now the way that they've countered this is that even if Hadi had to turn around and look this way, they've got a giant window set up so that none of these people can actually look at Hadi to pressure him. So Vestola ends up having to look at these people, which is just infinitely worse for Maga because they're so squishy and he can't stabilize with using E. Even with Kev blinking over here trying to capitalize off of it, I don't think it's just not enough. Yep, they use Suzu too, like Vestola just has to drop. I think this is the other thing that makes Echo so much better than the Pharah here, is that Pharah definitely doesn't kill Maga here, I don't think. Because with stickies plus the damage and then the beam, like you can't save Vestola even if he tries to rotate up here.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Yeah, really well played.
Maunga.
And dude, I would not be surprised to see SSG win a international. Good cage from Vestola. I saw the vision of what Hadi just tried to do. Because if you look, Hadi tries to stick his shield into the cage to protect Funny Astro, but he gets pulsed and dies. So it's. Did they actually try to go for? Actually, look closer at this. I think that there's actually more than we saw. Hold on.
Sensei Kiki!
Special delivery!
If this lamp doesn't get pulsed, this lamp is in a position where it's being protected by Hottie's shield. So the play that they were going for here, let's watch it. Let's watch it close.
Sensei Kiki!
Funny Astro gets caught. Shield goes here. Lamp goes here. So that Hottie can very nicely protect the lamp and also try to protect Funny Astro. So even if the shield can't get in there, the lamp does. So if this pulse, if Kev doesn't hit this pulse, I think this is a loss, actually. Even though they caught Funny Astro by himself, because the shield's protecting the lamp, I don't think that they can commit to try and break it. This is really, really well played from SSG. Like, this is the plan that they've got here is really good. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the way it was set up is just crazy. Yeah. You're able to kill Vestola. That's actually huge.
Team
Biggest thing that I think separates some of the higher level teams from lower level teams is when on push, whenever a team starts to lose, you need to try to int the trade, even if it's guaranteed to be lost rather than living. Because one, you're stalling the bot for more time. So you're in the lead, you're draining more time off the clock. Always good. But if you trade, Vestola is going to be back later than all of SSG is because these guys have to push the bot into SSG spawn. So they get to take a 4v5 right off a rip. So these guys probably don't get to take away forward spawn, if I had to guess. So SSG get to keep their spawn advantage as well. Yeah, they're all already back. All 5 of them are already back. And Vestola's now on ramp. So they're just throwing shit at a wall. I do think the ram is better. Because it allows you to stable a bit more and matches up better into the line. You don't have to play for such aggressive pins and stuff.
It's hand.
Who's in charge?
Could disengage. Now they can push back in. Are they gonna go for a high end of their own? Yep.
It's hand.
Disengage very effectively. Stole is really low. Sparker kills Kev. That's the nerf right there. Excuse me. But that's the Kiri nerf. Tries to Suzu him, but he just doesn't get back up. I think that's the first time I've actually seen that direct interaction. Damn.
Greetings.
So, I think that if you wanted to if you wanted to micro pick this, I think now that they're off of Sig and, actually no, maybe the Echo is just still better. I think that there might be an argument that the Pharah is now okay because they're on Ramatra, but I don't think it's that big of a deal either way. And Psycho's been pounding on the Echo, so I think it's fine. Like if they for some reason Ents just started to pound, Psycho could probably look to go Pharah. I think it's better. Maybe not better, but it's another option.
Settle down.
suyo! Vamos esculachar! Vamos esculachar!
The positioning control that SSG have over Ents here is incredible. Like, I just want us to look at this. I'm gonna toggle the overlay just so that we can see the positioning and stuff better. I'm gonna put this in so because these doorways are gone, you have to be a lot more concerned about flanks and off angles coming from this direction. So they've actually designated Psycho to control this angle. And what they've done is that because Psycho's on this angle, Kevster can't really flank, and Kai, while it's probably better for Kai, if Kai tries to go anywhere near this, he can't push this really. He can control this similar to how Psycho is, but it makes it so that Kev cannot go this way. So they're controlling it, making it so that Ents cannot basically cross this line. And so they're controlling this space here. Ents cannot cross this blue line. And since these people are all over here, Psycho is going to push out here with support from Sparker, I think. Even if he's by himself, I think it's okay. Forcing these people to back off. At the same time, these guys are going to window and force these guys to back off, which then gives them this entire lane for free. Gives them this lane as well as this lane, completely zones them out, and forces Ents to be in an objectively worse position. Like, it forces Ents to now play in this area, like this lane over here. So Ents went from controlling, like, they're, let me draw them right now. So Ents went from controlling this space to controlling this space. And that's infinitely worse than it was before. And this is all because SSG does their angle control so well. Soul is forced to back. Really good beat from Masa. I know I've been ripping into it a little bit, but that was a really good beat. They try to stabilize, but another really good beat from Funny Astro. The slow's a bit late, but I think with pin it doesn't really matter. Like, this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And now Psycho has copy. Taking up for a play here.
It's hand.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
God, dude, that shit's so
Ramatra.
gross. So they're gonna set. So they know, because they are not playing the Sig and they're not playing the Maga, they don't have to give a shit about Sparker taking wider angles and more aggressive angles because there's no stun to knock him out of it. Because so one of the biggest threats for the counter of High Noon is the Maga pin and the Sig Rock. And two ways of dealing with that is Kiriko Suzu, but SSG aren't playing Kiriko. So it makes High Noon a bit sketchier to use against those two characters. But because they're on RAM, SSG can just push in aggressively as Sparker swings, and they have to pick. Do they look at the Reinhardt that's inside their team, or do they look at the cast that's on their flank, and they're screwed? Adi just goes aggressive because he can. They still have Lamp. Like, there's nothing that can kill him. Use Suzu. Oh, it's just insane.
Ramatra.
Oh my god. Jesus, dude. That's insane. Like, SSG are on another level. I can't wait for SSG to take an international title. They deserve it. I think that If anyone's going to, it's going to be SSG. I don't think there's a single NA team that's even close. I don't think that there's another EU team that's close. It's just, I think it's SSG versus the Koreans, realistically. I think maybe M80. I have more faith in M80 to do something than Defiant, because I think Defiant is, I think they're not good, I don't think. Like, they're obviously good, but compared to the rest of the world and the rest of the top of the regions, like, they're not nearly disciplined enough for it to matter. We're gonna be starting on North America now. Looking at NRG versus Timeless. I don't actually know who wins this map, so this will be interesting. Let me get the team set up for y'all. Go here. Timeless. There we go. NRG shock. Alrighty. Let's see what these guys have cooking. Alrighty. Are they both staying sim? No. Okay. So this is the comp that we're running out with. They're going with the Cast Tracer with the Ramatra. Energy's comp is better, I think. I don't think it's arguable. Maga just matches up insanely well into Ramatra. I think Ramatra probably matches up a bit better into Sigma, but I think it still probably favors Sig a bit more. But I wouldn't be surprised if after first fight we saw Timeless just immediately swap to either a Maga of their own or a Sigma. Alright, we're going to see this initial rollout. Red's taking early positioning. Yep. Something that's, like, as a macro POV, controlling multiple lanes is really important because it forces the other team to respect it. Because these guys went on a flank on an off angle from their tank, these guys couldn't push forward because they were at risk of getting into a crossfire from both of these people. And because these guys had to back off, they're now in an LS of scissors, which is able to get some spam. So taking more angles and stuff is really important. It's a good visualization of everything that was going on.
Objective unlocked.
So now... So now we're in the stalemate period, which is I love this part of every push map. It's so fun. Good pressure. Infected. Getting pressured. That's a really fast Kitsune.
It's hand.
Seeker able to do anything with this? Drop. Oh, that was close. Nice try. So let's take a step back with the macro of what was happening here, because I do think it's important to look at and exactly how the Maga matches up against the Ram. So these guys don't want to use big mode because it will trigger NRG to go aggressive with the shout. So they're trying to play as passive as possible and poke out, try to get any advantages they can. And try to, if they can get infected low at any point, they can look to go aggressive. Try to pick them off. But because they've been putting so much poke onto Infected, like, Infected goes low, they've got to try to repush, Scissors is low. Now they're able to deploy the shield out here to kind of prevent these people from angling on them, and then they're able to swing a bit and put pressure on Infected. But Infected just tucks, which is really good. Prevents any poke. They pop big mode, which I think might be a bit of a mistake. But triggers them to go quickly, or push back in with the shout. And because they were being so aggressive and trying to poke so much onto the Mauga, Cal is able to get Kitsune.
It's high noon.
I think this is the right idea. I think that if, in a world where Mauga gets nerfed a bit and Shout gets a lot worse, we might see a meta where Sig's or Ramatra slow plus High Noon gets comboed a lot, because that's what they're trying to go for here. They drop down the slow, try to catch these people. They force Suzu with it, and then Seeker just drops and looks for the pick on these guys. But the NRG is able to just kill him, because also damage reduction is no longer there for cast towards the end of the noon. It was a nice idea, but I think as soon as you pop big mode there and you have to go on the defensive, I think it's just a loss. I think that's just tough. So, yep. Timeless goes Pharah, and then they go Mauga. So they're going for the mirror. I think that's fine. They go with the Kiriko as well. So if we're looking at this face value, NRG should win this fight and probably the next one because of the ult economy. It's going to take a while for this guy to get ult back. It's going to take a minute for this guy to get ult back. It's going to take a while for this guy to get ult. So they should be able to cycle. They should be able to use beat and High Noon for like stability. Ideally, they don't need to use beat for a whole lot of anything, but they can go aggressive with High Noon, and if that forces beat, they can probably win it off of the cleanup afterwards, and then they'll have Cage Barrage, and they have to use beat for either the Speed Noon or the Cage Barrage. So they have to pick one. They can't use it for both, unless for some reason NRG stacks everything.
What?
Klocho Kagami, thank you for the follow. Yeah, we'll go. Let's see how these guys do. See if Timeless can take a fight when they're not supposed to, really. Infected's a bit split. I don't know how I feel about this.
It's high noon.
Okay, they use Noon. I don't like how they had to use Cage there. I think that's a bit of a toss. I think NRG tossed that, unfortunately. Damn. They just play slow. Let's see what happens here. So Infected's staying point. These guys are rotating high ground to try to pressure it off. I think that's fine. Zira, if that's how you pronounce his name, is looking to poke this way. Boops him off.
It's
This crossfire that's set up between Zira and Ariel onto Infected, I think, just absolutely screws him. Like, I don't think that Infected should be the one on the cart. I think that as soon as these guys look to push in, like, I don't know. It's tough to say. Maybe you give point pressure. Maybe you put, like, Scissors on the bot or something so that we can get out easier. There might even be a world where you dump Kiri on here, and then as soon as they look to apply point pressure, she just TPs out, and then you hold this high ground. Because you have all of the advantage, really. But what it ended up happening is that we've been talking a lot about the push pulls, where like these guys want to push in, NRG would want to pull, and then push back in with resources while these guys expended theirs. But the thing is that these guys didn't pull, and they couldn't pull because they're sitting on the cart, and they're kind of just stuck here, which forces him to use cage in a not advantageous fight. I think the noon is fine, but it need. I think this is a turbo toss from NRG. There beats. There's an argument to be made that PG stays high ground. Hello, Clutch Okagami. Sorry, I didn't see your message earlier. But I think there's an argument to be made for PGE to stay high ground, just because it's a bit safer and provides a TP spot for Cal. But I think the biggest mistake there was like they had the biggest ult advantage in the world. They had the two big combo ults. They had High Noon, which gets a shit ton of value in this meta, and they just fumbled it. Are you only VOD reviewing teams? For now, I am right now. Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of the push maps, trying to see how the meta is developing on this map, on these game mode type. Plus, lots of teams are playing Caliseo, which has just been reworked and plays a lot differently than it did before.
Justice reign. Justice reign.
That is, are you doing this for anyone in particular or for your own benefit? I coach, semi, I don't want to say professionally because, I mean, I guess it's technically professional because I'm getting paid for it. But I coach in a lot of the Faceit leagues for a couple teams. And I think for some of my teams, push is their weakest point. So I want to do a lot of in-depth VOD reviewing, looking at what works, what doesn't, that kind of stuff, and then move so I can help my teams a lot better. That barrage is really ambitious.
Team kill.
I would have much rather seen a Kitsune play. Oh, we didn't have it though, which is why. Okay, never mind. Probably just play slow and go for Kitsune. I don't think that you go for that barrage. That barrage is really
Team kill.
especially when you're off to the angle like that. Like that's just, I don't know. Not a fan of that play. And now we're on opposite sides of the
Your team
table
has
from
lost
where
the
we were
lead.
before. Timeless has all of the ults in the world, has a support ult, plus Cage Barrage, and NRG just has support ult. Mirror Rush.
Justice reigns from above.
Good job living that. So far, I think the biggest difference from what we're seeing here in North America compared to what we were seeing in EMEA was that, for one, people are leaning into the Pharah a lot more compared to the Echo. And for two, they're going for a lot more aggressive barrages. I think barrage is a lot more useful, again, in combination with something like a sound barrier or the cage. I think trying to go aggressive with just the barrage, it gets a bit. It's tough. I don't think that you can get a lot of value, especially when you're running Kiriko. I think there's an argument to be made with the Batiste, because you can still do damage even if they lamp. But with the Kiriko, you can't even do damage to the immortality. So it's like, I don't think you can get nearly as much value. So going aggressive with the barrages without anything to pair with it, I think it's just hands down worse. Alright, so Energy's learning. They're taking high ground.
Dispersing.
They're playing for poke. They're dumping scissors on the card. Okay.
It's high noon.
Oh, infected drops. It's low. Getting beat. See, wouldn't it be crazy to have barrage right now? Wouldn't it be awesome if they had barrage instead of using it when they... dude, I don't know. It doesn't matter. This cage is unreal. I don't think you can drop there if you're infected. I think that you have to play for angle control.
Team kill.
Let's go back and actually look at this. If I was this team, how would you play this?
Dispersing.
We're playing up top here, looking for the
It's
noon.
high noon.
I think infected dropping when he's this low is troll. Even though he's got shout, like there's no way that they haven't tracked that this guy has cage. Like it's been for like he hasn't. I don't think he's used cage this map, so there's no way that they don't know that he's got cage. And dropping on him when he's got cage is a death sentence, especially when you're this fucking low. I think the better play is to high noon from here and then swing wide. Because that way you prevent people from holding this angle and kind of force people to be in this room, or in this lane rather. And then you can kind of try to punish because you've got the sound barrier to play around. You can play slower and build up on these two ults. Like the cage becomes infinitely less valuable if you've got a barrage to kind of try to deal with it. Like, because you can barrage the cage, 1, to break it, 2, to try to punish anyone that's inside trying to go aggressive onto your team. And if you use beat to, like, sustain in the cage, really paired really well with the barrage. So I think swinging wide here with the high noon is better, rather than trying to swing shallow, and then you've got your back to whoever's in that room. Both teams mirror beats, and it's just worse for NRG because they're inside cage. They're able to pick off the Pharah, so they might be able to get a quicker engage here. I swear to God, if I watch Scissors dump a barrage into someone without them having any other setup, I might lose it. We're in this little poke phase. This is fine from both teams. You're just trying to play for any kind of it. You're trying to look for any kind of advantage.
Justice.
There we go. Okay. PG. PGE, the face of EMEA. I think that this is super fucking sketchy. To be for one. actually, going aggressive here. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but whoever this Kiriko is, be like the fact that they were able to build up enough for Kiri ult so quickly, and then go for a Kiriko ult here. Kiri ult inside of Cage, it's honestly worse for the Mauga to Cage if the other team has Kitsune. Because you can break it so much faster, and you have so much of an advantage if you're the other Mauga in Kitsune compared to the one that's using Cage, that it's just a net loss, even though Cage is so strong. So Infected goes aggressive here. Honestly, doesn't take a lot of damage, but Ariel's able to hit a really nice slam. Probably almost cancels it, to be honest.
Justice reign up.
Is Zira inside the cage? No.
Justice reign up.
Oh no, I know. Scissors was like his head was poking through the cage, so he got shot. I think that this is probably a lot more one-sided fight if Scissors is just outside the bubble, outside the cage. I thought Zira got him, but they're able to mirror rush and then come out on top. Looks good. They had to use 3 ults for it though, so we'll have to see how it leaves them. This shit is so boring. Do a good job of forcing Ariel to play in the corner. Here we go. This is what I wanted them to do earlier. PG's playing wider, forcing the angle more. Then now they can actually get some decent card pressure and force Ariel into a shit spot. Like, he's got to try to leave.
Justice reigns from above.
Team has lost the lead.
Surely Seeker doesn't clutch this, right? Okay. Well played from NRG. Like, I feel NRG right now is like, they're making mistakes, but then they come in the next fight when they're in a similar situation and they fix those mistakes. Which I haven't really seen teams do very often from when I've been reviewing. Fixing your mistakes like that and doing that kind of stuff on the fly, I think is really impressive. They opt to take high ground. I think that's the smartest play. I think, like, genuinely, because the Timeless has to push through here. They can't really try to hard pressure high ground. They have to try to push the bot through. And NRG have the lead. So they're just backing off. They did the Kiri play as well. They had Kiri on cart that just TPs out as soon as there's any sign of pressure, which I think they should have done earlier. But now they get to fight over this fucking overpass again, not a bridge. We get to sit here and spam, poke at each other, and pretend like we're doing stuff. Jesus Christ, the fucking ults. But you guys see how quickly that cage broke because they had Kiri ult? Like, it was pretty equal in terms of, like, the direct head-to-head Maugas because both teams had Kitsune, but, like, the cage just instantly breaks. But they were able to... Realistically, I think this is an okay fight for NRG because they had to use these ults. Like, they only really have Barrage now. and now you have barrage. Like you're in a pretty decent spot. If you can prevent them from taking lead, I think you're golden. Especially since you don't have this one. Never mind.
Team kill.
Let's see. Alright, now Timeless are gonna do the same thing. They're gonna back off. Get as much pressure get as much progress as they can. So. And then we just loop. We're back to this fight. I hate this. I hate push. Give up a lot of space, but also they don't really want to push into the zone of death.
Justice reigns from
I think
above.
that's a big mistake from Ariel. For one, I don't think PGE needed to noon. Did we noon there? Yeah, we did. I don't think PGE needed a noon, especially if they're going to just solo barrage the fuck out of a Maga. This is the same mistake that NRG made before, where they put Ariel on cart and Ariel just like, or where they put Infected on cart. This time Ariel's just on cart, and now they just get to swing and fucking beat the shit out of him. I think that's a big mistake from Ariel. But also, they only needed one of these. I think either one by itself is fine, because if you save Barrage, you can use it with Cage, and if you save Noon, you can go for a speed play. Either one, I think, is fine. Alright, these guys are backing off. And NRG still have lead, so I think they're okay with this. They need to try to use Cage before Timeless has Kitsune. Because as soon as Timeless gets Kitsune, I think it becomes a lot harder for them to get value from Cage.
Seconds.
And they don't go for it. Now they've got Kitsune and Noon. I wouldn't be surprised to see NRG lose this now, because can Infected live? Infected needs to live. Oh, they were able to punish. Can they get Barrage? They can use Beat to stable. They mirror. PG uses Noon, but he's got the sound barrier
reigns
speed.
from above.
Very nice. Very well played. Good job. I think it came down to them getting more ults in the end, but I think overall that was better played from NRG. They made the right adaptations in terms of their mistakes and stuff like that. Turn off the teams. We'll go into the next one. Next match we're gonna look at is M80 versus Timeless, and then we'll look at Defiant M80. All right, we're gonna import. All right. Everyone wants to play Coliseo Esperanza. I wanted to look at New Queen Street, but no one's fucking playing New Queen Street. We might actually see it in Defiant M80. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Let me do the teams. This is still Timeless. Yep. Then we'll take out Shock and put in M80. I'm curious to see how this new M80 performs. I haven't seen this match. I didn't watch any of the NA ones. I watched some of the EMEA, but I didn't watch any of the NA ones because I think NA is low-key dog shit. Oh, let me turn on the name for M80. There we go. What the fuck am I looking at? Okay. I'm really confused, if I'm being honest. I don't know what the fuck this is. I'll be honest, I don't know how much analysis is gonna happen here. I don't know what the fuck is happening. They're fucking Zarya, Sombra, Torb, Lucio, Mercy. Why are both teams on Lucio, Mercy? Why are both teams on Torb? Was this a troll? What happened this game? All right, let's watch it. We're sending Soldier on the flank.
Objective unlocked.
I'm not watching this. That's just gonna be a waste of my time and all of yours. All right, let's see Defiant M80. Hopefully it's a lot less silly. And we're on New Queen Street. All right.
Ready for
It's the first time we've seen this map today. I'm excited to see how this plays.
5.
Hopefully they play something real. Let's get rid of Timeless and put in Defiant. All right. Luge on the Diva. Playing really hard anti-dive.
Objective unlocked.
See, at least now these comps make a little bit of sense, but I still think that this is still really weird. Okay, get close to it. I don't know how I feel about this one. Is Merit doing the classic soldier thing of just running into their spawn? Yeah, that's exactly what he's just playing the perma off angle. And as soon as they start to rotate, watch, he's gonna run to meet them. Yeah. They're going on the off angle, and they're pinching. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this map, to be honest. I'll give it a few more minutes, but also I don't want to. I think both of these comps are not good. I think the Winston comp's slightly better, but I think that this comp that M80's running is questionable at best.
I feel invincible.
How long is this map? Alright, let's skip forward a bit. Lushka's Vega. Oh, really well played from someone.
Nerf this!
is a dumpster fire. What? I don't know. We can watch this one through because it's the last one. But like, Jesus Christ.
I've got you in my sights.
Surprised Merritt didn't kill anyone else. Sorry for there being a lot less analysis for this one, but like I knew this console was not good. I don't think there's a lot going on, to be honest. Both teams Kitsune, but Spectre dies. It's super weird that both teams are mirroring Soldier, I think. I get it, they wanna, there's a lot of flanks and angles you can hold. I
Nerf
don't think
this!
it's terrible, but I just find it weird.
Miss me?
There's no word, like, there's literally no way that
Got you in my sights.
no Revisor even after Pollution stuff. In Toronto, just because. This is why Toronto, I think, is so shit compared to the rest of the world, is because their competition is so bad. What the fuck am I watching from EMEA, dude? I think this is just objectively dog shit. Kalush goes Winston. But they're still on Torb Soldier. I'm so confused. I think this is... Kalush can't dive anyone. He's just gonna sit on the cart and slowly die to poke. Like, look, he's 1 HP and now he's shooting. Like, what the fuck is this shit? What is this? Oh my god. Alright,
Team
well.
kill.
There's like no way that Amity was taking this seriously, right? Like they haven't it's like they haven't scrimmed for a week or something. What? What did I just watch? I think that was the most useless 7 minutes and 50 seconds of my life. Like, I wanted a new Queen Street because I wanted to see some new things. None of the other teams had really played it. But now I wish I hadn't seen it. To be honest, that was atrocious. All right, well, let's see. Is there anything else? Let me pull up the spreadsheet of what's it called? Replay codes. Let's see if there's anything else that I think be decent to look at. We looked at Ents, GG Peps. Could look at Twisted Minds SSG, maybe. Actually, you know what? I think we call it for today. For anyone still here in the chat, I really appreciate you sticking it out and watching with me. For any of my VOD viewers, I also thank you guys. Do all of the things, like, follow, subscribe. It really helps me out. I'll be doing a lot more consistent content stuff going forward. So make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, do all of the generic things. That way you can watch my content and everything like that. So I will talk to you all later, and I will be back another time with another review. All right, we'll see you guys.